Welcome, beautiful ones. And this week, we're going to dive all into your alignment plan as we start to really focus on what we want moving forwards and becoming the person we want to be. Because remember that we can dream as much as we want around, this is the way I want to start my day. This is the way I want to live my day. These are the thoughts I want to think. But what's going to happen is when we're manifesting something, we're going to meet the test. We're going to meet the trigger. And it is up to us to see that and keep practicing seeing that as the test and the trigger that is there to teach us how to get more in alignment with the person that we're here to be. So it's actually a really exciting process of self-discovery and learning. So this week we're going to focus on three things: alignment, starting to look at what is this life of design that I want to live that is in alignment with my personal path to shine and my personal code of conduct and the me that is living and breathing as the person I love, in the body I love, in the life that I love, and looking at another concept of scripting to help you get there. So scripting is going to be the first path and part on this journey that I really, if you implement it, your life will change forever. It definitely has for mine. It's a process that I've been doing for years, and we'll talk about it shortly. But first, I want to remind you that where energy goes, it flows. So if we are focused consistently in each moment on reaching better feeling thoughts, we are going to have energy that flows in alignment with that. If we are focused on the problem, oh my goodness, I ate so much chocolate. Where energy goes, it flows. So we're going to eat more chocolate, or we're going to feel more guilt or more shame. How in that moment can you practice, and can I invite you to interject self-compassion and go, that's done. If I focus on that, it's going to keep happening. If I focus on what I can do better, or thank you, universe, for teaching me this doesn't feel good so that I don't do it again, then you're going to feel a lot better for it. And that has been one of my personal greatest teachers on my path to shine, is practicing self-compassion when I stuff up. If I don't arrive to something I want to arrive to, just go, well, actually, thank you, universe, for showing me that doesn't feel good. And that clearly it doesn't feel good because I really want to arrive to it. And so from that place, I have this intrinsic motivation for myself to arrive to it, knowing that if I do, I'm going to feel heaps better. And that could even be with the food that you're eating and what you're putting in your body. Or if you know you're hurting your mind because you haven't arrived to your morning yoga practice, or you haven't made time to sit in stillness for 5 minutes even, and you've skipped that morning alignment session. Can you just practice noticing it doesn't feel good? And obviously it's being shown to you that it is something important to you. So how can you make that happen? And we're going to look at that today, focusing on what you want and where you want your energy to flow, so it starts to go there in a really authentic manner. The first thing I want you to do is pause this now and grab a piece of paper or your journal. I'm using this beautiful one at the moment. It's probably a $3 one from Kmart, and it's doing the job well. I want you to write down everything that is important to you in your life. And this might include things such as particular relationships from your spouse or your kids or your friends or family. Having stimulating work. You know, you might currently be in a role that isn't stimulating you, and you might realize that I really need work that stimulates me in the ways that make me happy. Is your priority movement and fitness? Being in good health, in good shape? Your mental well-being, spiritual and physical? It might be more relaxation time or making the most of your creative talents. I want you to pause this right now and write down every priority that you can think of that is important to you. And you might not have it right now, and that's okay, but by focusing on what you want, you're going to magnetize that to yourself. And in order to have more of what you want, you need to get clear on what that is. And it will start coming into your life quite quickly as you stay focused on that. So here's my list of priorities that I just did this morning as I was diving into this process to share with you guys. Now, my priorities are alignment within the 4 energy bodies, knowing that having a balance of healthy masculine and feminine, living in alignment with the yin and yang, is something that is going to bring me a lot of present moment awareness. So alignment in my mental, emotional, physical, and that's meant to say spiritual bodies is one of the most important things to me, because from that place I can give and receive freely, and I have so much more energy to give to my community, my family, and the people that I love. Service is really important. When I'm not serving, I don't feel like I'm giving anything. I feel undervalued or underused, and it's only towards myself. So one of the things that raises my frequency the most, which also raises the frequency and the earth frequency around me, is giving, sharing, helping people feel good. Connection to Mother Earth is important, and that relates to the food that I eat, the things that are on my body, the things that are in my life, and that, we have a garden and that we're nurturing and loving it. And, it even goes down to the toxins in our home and around us and what I'm putting on my skin, and working in alignment with the 4 elements. Movement is very important to me because movement is prana, life force stimulation, and this comes back to practices of Chinese medicine and in seeing the meridian channels in the body. So one of the most important things I can do daily is wake up and do 5 minutes of yoga or breath work to flow. Brain and body health is something that is more recently one of my focus points, because I realize if my brain is healthy, my body is a lot healthier. So what if I just daily focus on doing everything I need to do to make my brain really healthy? Third eye clarity is another one. Purification of the pineal gland. Now, things that decalcify the pineal gland are things like alcohol, drugs, toxins. And this is that when it blocks that flow running through the body. So to have a really clean third eye is a priority for me. To keep a clean, toxic-free lifestyle, body, mind is important. Love is a priority to myself and to others. Connection in relationships and conscious connection. How are you? I want to dive deep. Let's go there. Physical touch. Now, this is not my primary love language. It is my teacher. I have had to learn to receive physical touch because I didn't feel worthy. I used to feel triggered every time my partner who loves me touched me, and he was sending me love and I was unwilling to receive that love. So one of my priorities now, knowing that he's my teacher in love, is actually physical touch and giving myself physical touch and touching myself and stroking my hair and really putting oils on my skin daily, but also touching my partner, whether that's a little neck massage or head massage or grabbing his hands and putting oils in them. Physical touch. Frequency, and being aware of the frequency in and around me through sound, touch, sight, smell, taste, and focusing on the higher frequencies is important, because my manifestations, my goals are a large frequency. And to call them into my life means I need to magnetize at that same frequency. That is how manifestation works. It will come to you. You don't get to decide how. You just get to match the frequency and allow it to come in the way that it is meant to for you. Creating food as art is something that has supported me so deeply through emotional eating, and seeing that food is something to nourish and nurture the beauty within ourselves. And the way that I've done that is that each meal that I have or drink or meal I have with other people, I love to serve it looking beautiful. I love to have candles on the table when I eat dinner with my husband or even with myself, and have my journal next to me. I love to make sure I sit down and serve it on our favorite bowls or plates and have a placemat underneath. Use the beautiful things that you have. Don't just let them sit there. A priority is that I see money as concept of energy, rather than money as not enough or too much or anything like that, because it is just a frequency in the end. People that manifesting, $1 billion, the reality is that is it's an idea in the mind. It's this idea of energy exchange that we have created as humans to exchange energy. And the reality is, if we actually look at what $1 billion is, it's like $100 to make that $1 billion, in the printing, the paper. When you look at it, it's that. So money is a concept of energy. The more you give, the more you receive. The more energy you give, the more energy you receive. Priority is time for calm relaxation. This is because it keeps my nervous system in a state of equilibrium and balance, so that I can make decisions in the present moment. And when we're making decisions in the present moment, we're not acting out of a lack of love. We're not gorging food because we feel like we're in fight or flight. We don't even feel a need for that anymore because we love ourselves. So make time to bring that nervous system back into balance. Connection to source and that spirituality is a really important part in what's meant to say spiritual body connection, and the part that many miss, and the part that will balance you with your feminine energy. Dreaming is important, because when we don't allow our dreams to continue to flow, we are putting a rock in that river. And we don't want to rock in the river. We want to keep everything flowing so that we can continue to believe we're worthy of making those dreams happen. It is important to me to have peace in my body and to detach from any egoic concepts that have been programmed within me from my past of watching TV, looking at magazines with skinny girls on them and Botox and perfection. And to bring the peace inside myself daily, where I put clothes on because I love myself and they feel good for me. I put jewelry on because it feels good for me and it expresses the creativity of who I am. And allowing that to flow, not needing to meet anyone else's standards but my own. Trusting and surrendering that everything is working out for me and that nothing is ever attacking me. It's all for me. So when I meet challenge, it's a priority that I trust and surrender, detach and flow, and know that everything is working out for me. And that last one is around allowing creative flow. So if I receive a download of like, oh, this would be cool. All right, let's put this into action. Let's take one step forward today. Knowing every step we take forward is a step forward. Even if we don't follow fully through at that time, it's still a step forward. And that's better than nothing. So here's a reflection for you to do right now. You've done your list. And if you haven't yet, pause this and do your list. I want you to do that and maybe add anything that really resonated with you. But I want you to ask yourself, does the way I currently spend my time match or not match the order of my priorities list? So for example, if all of those things are really important to me, am I actually doing them? Or am I not doing them? So this is really a question of, here's my priorities. Am I currently happy with the way that I'm living? If I'm realizing these things are important to me, am I bringing them into my day? And straight away I can go, well, movement is important to me, but yesterday I didn't move in the way that my body really needed. And as a result, that energy came out in a way that felt a little bit like, oh, I needed to release that energy, but I didn't do it. So is there anything you need to adjust, looking at your list and asking yourself that question in your typical day or your week schedule that's going to allow you to focus more time and energy on your priorities? So for example, if you feel like you're lacking time and a lot of your time is going into your kids or your work, can you bring some of these priorities into the things that you're already doing? So at work, if one of your priorities is connection to Mother Earth, can you make sure that you're eating foods in alignment with Mother Earth? Can you make sure you've got stones, like beautiful crystals on your desk, or a beautiful quote that reminds you of the importance and connection to this sense of oneness? So remember that when we're manifesting, things don't always look the way we think they do. I want to invite you to look outside the box. If in your typical day or week, you are drinking a lot of alcohol, and it's from a place of numbing. It's not from just having one glass of wine and having a bath, or just going, oh, this is nice, as an act of self-love, because you've done it from the frequency of, I'm allowing myself to do this guilt-free because I'm allowed to allow myself pleasure. Then can you make sure that you do that switch to seeing that this is going to help you purify your third eye, and that it's important, your physical health is important to your mental health. So maybe you need to cut back or cut out this. It could be the same for coffee. It could be the same for foods that, aren't whole foods. So looking at your list, I want you to write down that you're committed to spending more time on the things that are important to you. And in particular, I want you to write down what you're going to spend more time on. Straight away, I can think of for myself right now, that connection to Mother Earth is a practice I'd like to bring into my morning through journaling. How can I serve Mother Earth today? Another thing I spend more time on is making sure I start my day with movement. I want you to find 5 ways. I've definitely been practicing the breath work in moments where I feel, life has challenged me. I've spent that time and consciously gone 4 breath in, 4 breath out. All right, now elongate the out breath. Is going to remind me that I am safe and everything is for me. Nothing is at me. And to daily take action on my goals. I then want you to have a look at how you can adjust your current schedule to incorporate these things in. So one thing I personally use is a Google Calendar and slotting time in. So if I know I've got a big day of work, or, arriving to my family or serving someone in some capacity, I make sure that I put in my diary my movement time. If that means I need to get up at 4 a.m. to do that, I do that, because I know it's the number one thing that is going to help me top my self-love up. It is so important that you arrive to your list of priorities. There is no excuse for that. The next thing I want you to do, pause that there if you need more time, is take a look at your list and write down a positive word next to each of your priorities that describes the feeling state you feel when you think about spending more time in these areas. So what is the state you feel when you think about moving your body? Energy. What is the state you feel when you think about making food as art? Alignment, peace, love, flow. I want you to write down a word for each and do 5 of those at least now. So what you're doing is you're going back to this list and writing a word. Food as art, flow. Money is a concept of energy. How does that make me feel? Trusting. Dreaming. How does that make me feel? Excited. Peace in my body. How does that make me feel? Love. Okay, a word for each. And as you do this, I want you to realize that the more time you spend focusing on your priorities, the better you're going to begin to feel, because this is all helping you reach those better feeling states. And we are here to focus on what we want, so we receive more of what we want. So I want you to write down the positive feelings I feel when I think about spending more time on the things I love are. And to have faith that you're worthy of this and of these feelings is to believe unconditionally that you can. Just like unconditional love, the love of a mother to a child. Have faith that, this love, that you are worthy of living and breathing in alignment with the person you're here to be as love. So I want you to, this week, focus on using your spare time very wisely. And I'm mindful that time is precious. And guys, I was continuously running a program of, I'm running out of time, I don't have enough time. And I was doing everything for everyone else except myself, and I was struggling. I was in a trap of self-loathing, emotional eating, self-sabotage, self-destruction, self-abuse. And as a result, I was actually hurting the people around me. I wasn't helping them. And I realized that the one thing to be able to help the people around me even more was to help myself first. So I had to do something really vulnerable and prioritize and align with my personal self priorities and align with my purpose to be the person that I loved. Knowing that if I was someone that I loved, I was consistently going to be a mirror around to everyone that I touched, that they could do it too. And very quickly, I saw that that was the pathway that was going to help people around me heal really fast, that I loved, that I was pushing to try and help them with. So if time is short for you right now, that perception that time is short, because remember, everything is an illusion. We have to reimagine the life that we want and then step into it. If time is short, choose to spend time in areas that you enjoy. So notice how you spend it and in which feeling state you're currently living, and that you can change that. I want you to choose that right now. And I put this picture of this family out hiking because I know that some of you guys have kids and a lot of your time goes to kids. But can you do the things that are going to nourish and nurture you, that you know are going to raise your vibration, even with your kids? So if you want to do sensory play, and you think, you need to go to the class to do the sensory play, can you do that? But then maybe later, go outside and touch the leaves and touch the ground and look at pebbles, look at the sunrise, go for a walk and tick 5 of your self-love priorities off for you, in knowing that that is also going to support your kids. Or can you do that with a friend, knowing that you need connection and connection with Mother Earth? So take a friend on a walk with you. Forward plan that. So it's in your week. It's like an invitation for you to look at self-love dates and putting it in your diary as a date for yourself, just as important as, going to the dentist is, or going to work. You arrive into this part of you is just as important. That's good. So let's look at this concept of intentional living. The first step is, and if we're relating it back to emotional eating, it's in self-awareness of your current reality and having compassion for where you're at. This is where I'm at, and I desire to change. That's the first step. The second step is to reach a better feeling life through goal setting and alignment. And you guys have set yourself goals. You're like, I want to stop this pattern. So now I know I need to actually act in alignment with the person that isn't doing that thing, and practice daily getting back up. Because the more I practice daily getting back up, the faster I'm going to get to exactly where I want to go. And I have self-compassion towards being process orientated in the process of reaching my goals, because if I focus on process orientation, I'm focused on present moment awareness, and I'm feeling success on a daily basis. I'm like, yes, I arrived today, I arrived. Those that are consistently focusing on getting to the goal and I want it now are consistently in this, why don't I have it? And I realized that wasn't something that was going to help me get to where I wanted to go faster. It was taking me a lot longer. And to be process orientated was going to take a lot faster to get there, and enjoying the process. Every day I practice enjoying the process. Enjoy the process of challenge. The challenge, the more I enjoy it, the faster I'm going to get there. which brings me to the third step of daily taking action and flexing this self-love muscle of self-belief. I can do it. I'm going to get back up today. Today's going to be a better day. I'm going to act more in alignment with the person I need to be to get to where I want to go. And I'm going to love that process. Now, we have been learning so much around the breath, and I now want you to realize, I guess, how to use it to your advantage to get what you want. Okay. So if we think of the other day, I was watching J-Lo. Any J-Lo fans out there? Now, I didn't love J-Lo, and that's why I saw a documentary, and I realized that before she went on stage to do the big show at the Super Bowl, she was just like, and it reminded me of someone that is like a sprinter that's about to step into a race, and they're doing their sprint to get them into state, to pre-race, to raise their cortisol, to get them into fight or flight mode, to go and run their fastest race. They're using the breath to their advantage to get what they want. A yogi who focuses on the out breath is getting their body into that rest and digest, that calm. And both have a purpose. Now, if we look at the trauma response in the body, it is a fight or flight. It is like that sprint runner who's running from the bear, running from the tiger. It's like, J-Lo, who's about to go onto stage and do this massive performance for 6 minutes in front of millions of people. And she has to perform and be on point and raise her energy, raise her state. Now, that's perfect in that moment, but we don't want to live in that state. And we don't even want to live 100% in this state either. We actually want a bit of a balance, because this state helps us go into action, more masculine. This state helps us into more flow, surrender, which is more feminine. And we want to live. We know that having a healthy masculine and feminine and a healthy yin and yang is really, really important. So we want to live in 50% of those states. What we don't want to do is consistently feel as though we're running from something when we're in a trauma response. We want to use the breath to our advantage to release the trauma response and remind our body we are safe. We want to, in that moment, use this breath, the yogi breath, to feel a sense of flow and happy and calm and rest and digest. And that is when, in this moment, we choose to breathe in for 4 and breathe out for 4. Breathe in for 4 and out for 5, and elongate that out breath all the way to 8. And use things like affirmations to say, I am safe. Everything is working out for me. Everything is for the greater good. And bring our body into that state of calm. I just wanted to add that in there. Be mindful of the breath you're using and how you feel today. The last thing we're going to talk about today is this concept of scripting. So what we're doing is guiding you into a process of focusing more on what you want and having more passion and purpose for your life. So we have, over the last few weeks, invited you to learn about this concept of reframing. So when you currently think, I can't do this, the reframe is, I can do this. Every day I'm getting better and better. So the reframe is focusing on the better feeling thought. Now, this week I want you to watch, there's a very quick video that explains all about scripting. This is a process that has transformed my life to help me to live in a state of calm, to lower cortisol, to arrive to challenges and realize that they're not actually challenges, they're there for me, they're not at me, to meet days that I'm maybe feeling anxiety towards. So like, it could be like, oh my goodness, I've got this presentation I have to do, and to use scripting to manifest exactly what I want. It's a really powerful video. Go in and watch it. And I'm looking forward to seeing how you go with the process. But you can start tonight by simply writing down what you want as though you have it now. I'm so grateful that I have nourished my body today and I feel really good. And I've done healthy poos and I've drank water, and I didn't even think about food in the way that I used to. I felt stressed and I didn't resort to food. Instead, I did some journaling and I put some music on. And I even found something today that brought me a lot of joy that I wouldn't have seen in the past if I was doing the old pattern. But today I didn't do the old pattern and it felt really good. When I do this process is often at night before I go to bed. And I think this is the most powerful time to do your scripting process. Do not skip it. It will change your life. Do it right now. Like, go and run and get your journal and write down how you want the rest of your day to unfold. Now, the last part for this is letting go. Script the day as you want it to unfold, and then just let go. Put your journal down and go on with your day. And notice what shifts for you. Guys, thank you for joining another beautiful live call. And as always, type any questions you have around any of these processes in the Facebook group, and we'll see you guys shortly.